Ladies and gentlemen, greetings, Alex here from Zelrix. In fiction, fusion is a trope. Yu-Gi-Oh!, Digimon, Steven Universe, and of course above all else, Ben 10. But fusion is also an open door for fan artists, and that's why today we're looking at fusion of aliens from the Ben 10 universe made by multiple artists across the world. And while working on this collaboration, I realized that I really enjoy drawing fusion, so that's why I decided to make a concept out of it. So if it is your first time on the channel, first of all, welcome, then you're watching the first episode ever of Fusion Factory. But before we get to the serious content, real quick, this video is once again, surprise surprise, inspired by OR Ash and his video where he has the same concept. OR Ash streams himself in his fusion lab drawing fusions. But I decided to make it a non-streaming concept as I don't really like to stream myself. But if see me draw for 2 or 3 hours is something you would like to see, just tell me that in the comment section. So you'll guess it, this video is inspired by OR Ash. A bit like you behind your screen can inspire yourself from my subscribers and click that big ass subscribe button beneath the video. I also heard that doing so may allow you to fly and control time. Plus, if you activate the bell, you will be notified whenever a new video comes up. And if you leave a comment saying which is your favorite Ben 10 alien, then you will win a special place in the universe. But in this video, OR Ash develops on the fact that there are indeed 4 types of fusion. They are the reskin, the art of taking a certain character's skin if they have a specific texture to it, to put it on another character. Like if the second character was wearing the skin of the first one as an Halloween costume. Maybe I shouldn't phrase it like that, it's terrifying. Great example from the classic series are included in the episode Dr. Anemo and the Mutant Ray, with this Bat Paranite or even this Galvan Petrosapien. Then there is Frankenfusion. It consists in attaching a specific part of a body into a specific part of another body. The body parts are almost or entirely intact. Frankenfusion often looks inconvenient and puts attachment over functionality. Great examples include Ripjaw Heat Blast or even Ultimate Kevin from Ben 10 Ultimate Alien. Next we have the Hybrid Fusion. An hybrid is a character where you take both fusion material and merge the strong point to create a fully functional offspring. Great examples are Fourmongosaur, the merger between Humongosaur and Four Arms from Ben 10 Omniverse, and outside of the license there is also the Yu-Gi-Oh! Universe with the Dark Paladin, which is a merger of the Dark Magician and the Buster Blader. The fourth and final style OR Ash developed on his favorite was Foster Fusion. Foster Fusion takes the strong point of both fusion material to create an entirely new creature. Foster don't feel like fusions but like characters on their own. To my knowledge, in the Ben 10 universe there are not that many Foster Fusion style, so outside of the license there is the Digimon universe with Omnimon. Yeah, I'm a big Omnimon fan. Look at what my girlfriend got me for Christmas. I love you, honey. But I say we can take these 4 styles of fusion and crank that up to get 7 different styles. My first personal style is called Evocation Fusion. Similar to Foster Fusion, Evocation consists into creating a new character, but instead of just focusing on the strong point, we here respect the general theme of the aliens and evoke them. We evoke the alien through the visual language, using themes, patterns, colors, textures, etc. The fusion between Foster Fusion and the reskin. Yes, I just fused 2 fusion styles together. Fusionception. But to illustrate my sayings, instead of looking for an example, I drew my own. This is Crown Blast! The fusion between Chromastone and the Paranite DNA of Heat Blast, evoked by the rocky texture and the rainbow flare. I gave him the ability to control light like Chromastone, but with the same level of accuracy as Heat Blast can control flames, creating a flying force of nature capable of shooting a rainbow flare and creating light constructs. Then my second personal style directly from the Frankenfusion department, let me introduce you to Parasite Fusion. Parasite Fusion is when a certain part of one fusion material will overtake the body of the other one. The main difference with Frankenfusion is the fact that in Frankenstyle, the result may look inconvenient because the body part must remain as intact as possible. But with parasite fusion, we are not afraid to shatter the body part, and it may not look inconvenient. It will look inconvenient. There's a difference. As an example, I choose to fuse the DNA sample of an ectoneurite and a petrosapien. This is
Diamond Freak!
basically a levitating bag of crystal. He cannot phase as he can tank, shot, and throw himself like a rock hammer to his opponent. He's also much slower than Ghost Freak but much faster than Diamond Head. And I feel like the strong point of this design is the fact that we can clearly see that Ghost Freak and Diamond Head are not compatible aliens. In the end, Diamond Head is not that present outside of the crystal team. This is what I call a parasite fusion. And finally, the last type of fusion is what I call frame fusion. It's when you take the body of your first character and use it as a blank canvas and use the body parts of the other character to create a new entity. This peculiar style requires a creature that is fully functional, which is the main difference with Frankenfusion. But you'll see that these two types of fusion are not incompatible. What we think of when we say Frankenfusion in the Ben 10 universe is mainly Kevin 11. And yes, he's Frankenfused, but the general body is still the one of 4 arms. So technically, you could argue that this is a frame fusion. But just like for the other two, I drew my own example. This is Chalkbolt. Chalkbolt is my favorite fusion I drew for this video. The frame of Cannonbolt with the strong point of Upchuck. He can still eat virtually anything and spit back energy balls and blast. But he can also use what he eats as fuel for his reactor that are everywhere on his body, that can come out of his extremities and his shell, making this alien a walking comet. Now that everyone is caught up on each fusion style, it's time to get to the serious business. Since we are already shamelessly plagiarizing the ink tanks concept, why not steal one of their associates? This is the fusion of Elmike. Elmike chose to fuse Brainstorm, the super intelligent crab from the cerebrocrustaceous species, and Eye-Guy, the multi-eyed octoid who has the ability to shoot a multitude of ray, energy blast, and electric shock with the eyes that are everywhere on his body. Everywhere except his face. Am I the only one that is totally overwhelmed with this level of irony? Without further ado, this is Elmike's High Storm. Now that his body is a merger, his exoskeleton is softer. His power don't change that much since both aliens have pretty similar abilities. He still can close his flap thingy, but Elmike left them open just for display, and his extra legs are just a vestige from Brainstorm. They move, but they have no clear purpose. Here we can see that Elmike went straight for an hybrid fusion, making a fully functional creature and perfectly incorporating the strong trait of both aliens into his work. So good job, Elmike, I hope you're proud of yourself. Next we have Hans, one of my personal friends from college. He merged the polymorph DNA of Goop and the Volpimenser DNA of Wildmutt. This is Hans's Wild Goop. You can see Hans went straight for a reskin, taking advantage of Goop's texture to splash it over Wildmutt's body. But opposite to most reskin arts, he also conserved some of Wildmutt's texture, giving the polymorph body a bit more edge. I recruited Hans for this project for 2 reasons. First of all, he's one of my personal friends, we went to college together, we have pretty similar formations. But also, he's not a Ben 10 fan. And I thought it would be interesting to take someone who doesn't know that much about this universe, if at all, and see them express a piece of art with only the visual language of both their characters. And I can say the result didn't disappoint. I really enjoyed this Volpimenser polymorph. From one talented artist to another, let me introduce you to the world of SLM Art. He chose to fuse the Paranite DNA of Heat Blast and the Galilean DNA of Gravitac. At this point, even if you haven't seen the show, I don't think Heat Blast needs any introduction. Just by looking at him, you have a great idea of what he can do. But Gravitac, long story short, he has a super durable body, he can control gravity, and is without any doubt one of the most powerful aliens in the franchise, in addition of being one of my favorites. So when SML told me he was gonna merge him with the DNA of a Paranite, I just couldn't wait to see the end results. This is SLM Art's Graviblast. Once again, straight for a reskin fusion style. Generally, I think it's too easy with Heat Blast, but since Gravitak is already made of rock, I think it's an interesting take on both the characters. Instead of just sending me what he thinks are the strong points of his fusion, SML wrote a direct text describing his piece, and he even sent me a 30-second time-lapse. Such a level of professionalism and work devotion cannot go unrewarded. So to quote SML, "Hello, this is SML. For my Gravitak X Heat Blast fusion, I wanted to combine their attribute to benefit each other's design. Both aliens are made up of the orange-reddish color rock texture. From Gravitak's rock body, I wanted to add the Heat Blast fire elements. Flowing around his design, I also looked at a lot of Ben 10,000 Heat Blast design for elements I could use. The biggest one being the opening of his shoulder where the flame comes out. For my fusion, I added a small volcano-like protrusion that resembled this design element. His powers are essentially the same, but he is more powerful and can blast and direct the fire blast more efficiently." I love this one. He perfectly took the strong points of each character to create this meteorite-like creature. This is awesome, but from the Earth core, we fly to the terrifying realm of the monster alien designed by one of my college buddies, Jeremy. Just like Hans, I recruited him because we're college friends, but also because he has a very peculiar art style. Art style that you can find in his comic book. Here's a little bit about this. Spellcaster is an urban fantasy story about two gangs of teenagers with paranormal powers fighting each other. It's filled with vampires, witches, werewolves, and high dose of humor. Sadly, it's only in French for the moment, but if there is enough traction around it, I might start an English version. For this fusion, Jay took the Lobo and DNA of Blitzwolfer, the werewolf alien, and the DNA of the Ectonerite Ghost Freak. He says that these two peculiar aliens are his favorite when we only look at the design. This is Jeremy's Wolf Freak! Here we can see Jeremy went for a Foster fusion, taking the strong point of each character and design a new alien fully functionally. But this alien also looks like a character on his own. This is complemented with this peculiar cartoonish art style. The end result is an alien I could see in an epic fight as well as in a casual joke scene. To quote Jeremy, "I'm not a hardcore Ben 10 fan, but I watched the 2005 version when I was a kid and from time to time Alien Force when I was a little older. Since I was a big fan of anything related to Alien, I really liked the paranormal and sci-fi inspired aspect of the show. And I only know the old Alien, so I picked up Ghost Freak and Blitzwolfer as they are my favorite design-wise. They look dope, I don't know." For the design, I kept what I thought to be the unifying element that Ghost Freak and Blitzwolfer have in common, the sharp forearms. I simply built upon this foundation. When I design a character, I make them visually efficient and simple. The details I added to the design have a visual meaning. They accentuate certain important parts of the character, the head, the chest, and its arms. The character is drawn mainly with triangle shape to indicate that it's dangerous, sharp, and dynamic, and with some circle shapes to indicate that it is one of the good guys. Also incorporated diagonal lines to indicate movement and instability. Real talk from someone who went to college in visual art and is currently studying the cinematic production. This is high-level visual language perfectly exploited. You choose two aliens that were very different design-wise, and you had a lot of choice to make. And per se, I say you made the right one, congratulations. Moving on to our final artist, Art Megaverse, another Instagram artist specialized in the Ben 10 fan arts. In addition of being one hell of a hard worker, he wanted to merge the teensy alien DNA of Frankenstrike, the Frankenstein-like looking electric alien, and feed back the energy absorbing conductoid. So without any doubt, the end result will be a shocker. No one? Sorry about that. This is Art Megaverse's Speed Strike. Probably the hardest fusion to categorize. I'd say Art Megaverse went for a frame style as we can recognize the main body of Frankenstrike, but with some feedback element added to it. I really like how he got rid of the electric plug themes of feedback to give them a more dark fantasy sci-fi look proper to Frankenstrike's lore and design. To quote Megaverse himself, Feed Strike is the fusion of Feedback and Frankenstrike. I tried to combine the metal element of the two aliens and find a way to keep both aliens at an equal level of presence. I tried to combine the two tower-shaped conductor coil-like generator from Frankenstrike's back with the feedback antennas and the tail. I chose these two aliens because I think their powers would work great together. Strength and agility, electrical manipulation, and energy absorption. So that's it guys, out of all the aliens introduced in this video, which was your favorite and why? Tell me that in the comment section down below. And since I'm launching this new video concept, propose me character to merge in the comment section down below, and who knows, maybe I'll do a fan art of it. Don't be ashamed to leave your own Instagram in the comment section and maybe we'll do a collaboration someday. Speaking of Instagram, don't forget to follow all the artists in their respective platform. All links are in the description, of course. And while you're there, why don't you subscribe and activate the bell to be notified whenever a new video comes up, share this video with all your ultimate Ben 10 fan friends, and as always, thanks for watching.